guys, welcome back to the Thrifty Upcycler. I'm so glad you tuned in today. We have an amazing show for you today. We have Dawn Humphreys here from Dawn Designs, and she's going to talk about how she renovated her gorgeous spaces on a budget. And let me tell you, it's beautiful. The other thing we're going to be working on today is I'm going to show you how to refinish a piece of furniture, one of my most favorite things to be doing. And we're going to get right into some really fun stuff. You can see that I'm surrounded here by some gorgeous pieces. We're going to be talking today all about thrifting on a budget. So many of you may know, if you've ever done any kind of renovation, if you've moved into a new home, the first thing that always gets cut is your design budget. Always. So what I've done is I've come up with a few different ways on how you can really get the most bang for your buck whenever you are doing any kind of decorating and you've got a really tight budget. And let me tell you, it's something that you can do and you can create a really beautiful space. So before I do anything, and I know I've mentioned this before, but it is so important to make sure that you have a budget. By having a budget in mind, you will be able to make sure that you're not going to end up going over. So always make sure that you have a budget. Now, once I've done that, then I always look at kind of creating an inventory of what I can splurge on and what I can spend on. So when you're looking at living room design, of course, there's a few things that you definitely want to splurge on. You want to make sure that you spend on a good couch that's going to last you for a little while, that has really good upholstery, that you don't have to worry about it ripping after time. So that's one definite thing that you do want to look at splurging on, but the rest pretty much is things that you can have a lot of fun with. So a couple of things. I have a few tips on how you can, 5 tips on how you can make sure that you get the most bang for your buck. So for the first thing that you want to look at doing is you want to thrift for your accessories. So I have a few things here, and you know how much I love thrifting. So I'm going to show you a few things that I actually found when I was thrifting. So this here, I love this. It's very 1920s, but this is a candle holder. I got it for $3.99, guys. It's a fantastic price, and this can be hung up maybe in your living room. If you have a fireplace, this would be kind of the perfect thing to have. So this is something really easy, really inexpensive, and if you don't like it, remember, you can always paint it, but I do kind of like the metallic with it. So that's one thing, is thrifting for your accessories. The other thing is that I'm a really big believer in making sure that you have some green in your space. I feel that it just gives your space some life. It's just bringing the outdoors in, and it just gives it a really organic feel. So this is something, there's a couple of things here actually that I want to mention. So this is a snake plant. These are quite hardy, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not very good with keeping plants alive, but this is something that I've been able to actually keep alive now. I think we're going on 2 years now, which is pretty amazing. So all I did is I went out and I found this really gorgeous plant, and then this basket here, if you take a look at it, I love this basket. So this is something that I thrifted for, so a really good way to be able to save some money. You see all the texture on this? It's gorgeous. This is a really great way to be able to save some money. I think I spent maybe $4 on this at the most, and you can just take your plant. You don't have to go out and buy any kind of expensive pot. You can just get a plastic, and then you can put this right into it. So this is a really great way. And for those of you that may not be, there's so many hardy plants, but if you really don't want to have a live plant, you can go out and get these cute little plants like this. So this is not a real plant, but I don't think you would really know it, and it's so cute. It just adds a little bit of color, and succulents are so big right now. So this is another really easy way. You can get it pretty inexpensively at most, like Home Sense and places like that. So that's one thing. Another tip, and the third tip, is to have some fun and have some kind of a textured wall. Either have some color on it, but make a wall the focal point. So there's a couple of papers that I've used, and wallpapers become so much easier. It's not as difficult as what it used to be in terms of applying. So I just want to show you this piece here. So this guy right here, this is a textured wallpaper. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Look at that. So this is a really gorgeous textured wallpaper. So what you could do is you could look at putting this up on your wall, and you could paint over it, or if you just want to leave it as it is, just to add a little bit of neutral texture, you could totally do that too. This is one that I've actually used. If any of you have ever been to my studio, this is paper that I actually have up on my wall. And it's funny because every once in a while I'll have somebody come in and ask me if I've either painted it or if it's real, but it's actually wallpaper. So wallpaper has really stepped up in terms of the looks and the design, and there's just so many ways that you could do it. So it's another really fantastic way to be able to just up your decor game and save some money. So trays. I love trays. I love trays in a living room. You can get them really inexpensively, and you can literally make any kind of tray. You can just use a piece of wood and throw some handles on it. But this is a really great way. If you have any clutter, you can just put it on a tray, and it looks wonderful like you've designed it. So books, little accessories. This is a really great way just to kind of keep things nice and tight, and it's not very expensive. And this, for example, with the gorgeous pattern on it, is a really easy way just to add a little bit of fun into your space. So the very last thing, of course, I love this. This is one of my favorite steps, is upcycling a piece of furniture. Now, we've talked before about what upcycling is. It's when you're going to transform something that is no longer useful and maybe a little bit tired, and you're going to create something really beautiful and transform it. So I have a few pictures of some things just to kind of give you an idea of how you can really easily transform a piece of furniture, and it can really impact your space. So these pictures here first, this is just kind of just to give you an idea of how you can really layer in pieces. This is from Erin Rochon. She's an amazing interior designer, and just to kind of show how she's continually to layer pieces to make it look really transformed. We have another picture coming up. This is also from Erin Designs, and just by adding a few pops of color and some really gorgeous art placed in some really fantastic ways, it can really change it and make your living room just look amazing. So this is a tire piece. I'm sure some of you have seen these kinds of pieces before. I found it, I had it for a little while. It looks really tired, and if this was to be in your space, it might really drag everything down and make it really heavy. So what I did is I used some fusion paint on this. I think I actually used the color Casement, and I refinished it. And by just painting it in a really bright white, which you should be seeing in a second, it really brings the whole, it just really lightens the whole space. And just by adding a few accessories, you can really do some really amazing things with it. So this is another piece too that I found. It was really tired and had about 2 different styles going on with it, but the hardware was quite fantastic. So just by painting it in midnight blue, which is a really deep blue, really grounds the whole space, and you can easily layer in colors and other textures in it just to really elevate the whole space. And again, every time I design things, I always make sure that I do it on a budget. So a couple of other things I just want to show you really quick. These kind of boxes are amazing, and it's a really great way to add a little bit texture, but you can also hide stuff, and you can get them pretty inexpensively at most home decor stores. So that's just another tip if you have a lot of knickknacks and stuff that you kind of want to hide before your guest comes over. So next up we have, I'm going to be doing a DIY. I'm going to be showing you how you can transform your furniture beautifully. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Thrifty Upcycler. So in this segment, I'm going to be showing you one of my most favorite things. I'm going to be talking all about how you can upcycle your furniture and you can transform it into something really beautiful and something that you'd be so happy to show off in your living room. So I know I've talked about upcycling before, and essentially upcycling is when you take something that is no longer useful or maybe just a little bit sad and tired, and you make it into something beautiful, and we're going to be doing that with some paint. Before we get into it, I want to show you this piece that I found. So this was something else that would be considered thrifted. I happened to find this at a garage sale, and a stager, actually, a home stager, was selling off a lot of her pieces. And I actually got this gorgeous bench. And if you take a really good look at it, you can see all the really gorgeous detail. Now there's some scuffs and some, marks on it, but that's okay because it's going to get painted, and that's all part of the whole character. See that? No one's gonna see this. It's gonna be fantastic. Also, there's like lots of gorgeous studs on this, and this is a leather seat. And did you know that you can even paint leather? We'll get into that in another segment though. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to use this gorgeous color from Fusion. This is one of their brand new colors. It's called Twilight Geranium, and this is really deep purple, and I think it would actually work perfect with this. So even though it's a really dark, rich color, it still has a really beautiful color. It really has a deep richness to it. So a couple of things. When you're painting, you want to make sure that you have a really good quality brush. So you want to use something because it's definitely going to show up when you're painting it. So that's one thing that's really important. So I'm just going to start painting. I'm not really sure what I'm doing either, guys. I'm not sure what my vision is, but that's part of the whole creative process. So we're just going to have some fun and just start painting. Now, you know, I've mentioned quite a few times that whenever you're painting furniture, that it is so important to make sure that you prep it first. And I've already done that. So prepping, again, in case you don't remember, is when you give it a good clean with warm water and vinegar, and you scuff it up with 220 sandpaper, and then you give it a little bit of a wipe. And then your furniture is ready to paint. I already did this before, but look at this already. One leg in this really gorgeous, rich color. So one of the reasons why I got into painting, it just kind of happened. Again, I never thought that I was anybody that was creative at all. But when my kids were young, I just kind of fell into this, and I was trying to find really friendly, budget-friendly ways on just bringing my decor up a little bit of a level. But this was a really fun way, and I found it very therapeutic. I love going out and finding really cool pieces because there's just so many of them, and having the opportunity just to kind of sit and paint and not have to worry about what was happening. It was kind of my own time to be able to do that, and I love it. And the other great thing about it too is that when you are painting, it does not have to be perfect. And if you paint something and you don't like it, you can just repaint it. So one of the things I do whenever I am painting is I just always do nice long strokes. Again, so I'm using Fusion, so this can be almost self-leveling if you apply it properly. And I'm doing that because I've got this really fantastic brush, and I'm doing really nice long strokes. Okay, so sometimes I don't always have a vision of what I'm going to be doing with my pieces of furniture. And I'll tell you that sometimes I'll have pieces and they could be sitting in my space or sometimes even in my home for months. I'm not joking. But that's part of the whole creative process. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out where you want to go with your piece of furniture. So the great thing about it is that you can just have some fun with it. And I'm going to do that now. So again, like I said, I don't really know where I'm going to go with this piece. I really love this Twilight Geranium. It's really gorgeous. But I think I might just play a little bit and see what happens. So let's see what happens when I mix a little bit of the coal black. So this is another Fusion color here. You can see it. And I think what I'm going to do, let's try this out and see what happens. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. And if you do it and you don't love it, then you can just change it up. So I'm just going to put just a little bit of black on here. So you can see I'm kind of mixing in the colors a little bit. Okay. Let's see. I kind of like this actually because it's just giving it a little bit of a smoky feel to it. You see that? And it's going to make the detail stand out. Now what I'm going to do, let's see what happens. I'm going to just put a little bit of a damp cloth on it, and I'm just going to just wipe just to blend it a little bit in. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's try this. I'm going to wet my paintbrush here. Let's see what happens. Guys, so this is part of painting, is just having fun with it. If you don't like it, you can always just repaint it. But part of this is just having fun. So you can see I just wet my brush a little bit, and it's just creating this really smoky look to it. I'm actually kind of liking that. That's pretty cool. So the key to this, have fun. You can try different colors, do different things. I think I'm going to try this guy as well. So Fusion has metallics. I think I've already talked so much about how much I love them, but this is Fusion's copper. And I think rich, you can see that there. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful color. I like the look of purple and copper together. So let's see what happens if we just layer a little bit of this on. Again, this is something you can just have fun with. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't always have to have a perfect plan for it. And you have to think of furniture as a canvas. I don't always see it as a piece of furniture when I'm painting. I see it kind of as just a big art canvas. So I work a little bit on it, and I kind of pull back and see what's happening, and then I can kind of go back into it. And it's a way that you can continue just to have some fun. Now, because I wet my brush, it's just going to gently smooth on here. And it's almost doing like a little bit of a glaze on here. Do you see that? It still has a little bit of the black coming through. So we've got this kind of smokiness of the really deep purple with just a little bit of the shimmer. So guys, when you are painting, you just want to make sure that, you know, you're doing it in a space where you have the time to be able just to sit back, to relax, and to just kind of focus on this and not get caught up on whether or not it's perfect. That's the whole fun about painting furniture. It's just having fun. Have fun with the imperfections. And just remember that you can always fix it. So I am just going to keep working on this. And I'm going to see what happens with it after. I think it's going to be awesome. And if I decide to change my mind, it's okay. So next up, I'm going to keep working on this. We have Dallin Designs coming on to talk about a renovation. Stay tuned.
The Thrifty Upcycler is presented by Fusion Mineral Paint. This zero VOC paint is available in a wide range of colors and decorative finishes. Fusion Mineral Paint inspires us to paint it beautiful.
Hey, welcome back. So I am so excited. We have Dallin Humphreys here from Dallin Designs, and I saw some pictures from her a little while ago on Instagram, and they were just so beautiful that I asked her to come on the show. So can you introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about what you think? Thanks so much for coming. By the way.
Thank you for having me. So basically I was in social work for the last 10 years and kind of just needed a change. We were moving from Toronto to Ottawa, so I decided that would be the time that I would do a little bit of a career change. And I really wanted to be home with my daughter. She was 3 at the time, so I really wanted to spend some extra time with her. So I was looking for just like a way that I could be creative, you know, and do something completely different from social work.
Yes, I understand, because that's what I did before too.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah,
Wow.
I know, so I totally understand. So we have a few pictures of some of your renovations that you've done, and what I've loved is that how you're able to do it on a budget. So maybe you could just quickly talk about this.
Yeah, so when we did our first project in Toronto, we were super budget conscious. Because basically Toronto is expensive.
Yeah.
So the first reno we did was in Toronto, but this one is in Mont Tremblant.
So this is a before picture of your kitchen?
Yeah, so that's our second big project that we did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it was super simple actually. Basically all we did was paint the cupboards and change the knobs.
And I think you used Fusion Mineral Paint Midnight Blue on this, which I'm in love with that color. I was talking about that a little bit before, but it's so gorgeous. Yeah. So we've got this one too. This is from Tremblant as well, right?
Yeah,
and this is the before?
Connected. Yeah, that's the before.
Okay, and then we have, oh my goodness, look at that. It is so bright and happy. Yeah. Just gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, we basically just painted. Even like painted the chairs and added a chandelier. Yeah. It's super simple, super cost efficient, but it completely brightens up.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you can really change the space. I think we have another one coming up too here. So
this is the master bathroom in Tremblant. And really all we did was add a chandelier, and I added those were actually trays, basket trays that I found at Value Village. So I really like to think out of the box and think like, what can I hang on the wall, even if it's not like a piece of art, like that's what I look for when I'm going thrifting.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think we have another picture coming up too.
Yeah, so this is our Toronto house. So this was our first project. And the house was a triplex. Well, actually, so it was a 3-level home in Toronto, and we divided it up into a triplex. And our main reason was basically we needed to cover some of our mortgage.
Okay.
Because it was super expensive.
I think we have another one coming up of the after.
Yeah, so it was actually a bedroom. So this is on the 2nd level. This is where we were living. And of course, being budget conscious, we decided to go with an IKEA kitchen.
Yes, I think we have another picture of that one coming up too. Oh, we have this.
Yeah, so that's like the main living space. Toronto is, you gotta like live in tight quarters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so our goal was just to kind of make it like super bright and airy and
I think what I had, the actual window that's in there, that's a window that was not there before?
No.
And you put in?
We put that in. So that black window is actually a loft window that we found on Kijiji. Yeah, and it was just like a solution to a problem that we had where we were really nervous that our daughter was going to jump off the back of the couch. So we were like, how can we make it still look cool and not like make a wall, because the wall would kind of block light, you know?
That's
so
fantastic.
how can we like let light through?
Yeah, I think we have another picture coming up too. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the basement in that Toronto house. And so we decided to freshen it up.
After.
So all we did was we added vinyl snap flooring, which is super easy to install. We just laid it on top of the current flooring that was there. And then we just took the cupboard doors off of the IKEA kitchen that was already there and just replaced them with a more modern cupboard door.
Oh, wow.
Which was so affordable and completely changed the look and really modernized the space.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm not sure if we have any other picture. Oh, yeah, is that it? Yes, okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that space is gorgeous, and I really loved how you were able. Sometimes for people, I find it can be difficult to be able to see. It can be really difficult for anyone, really, to be able to visualize. So, what was your process in, like, how were you able to kind of pull all that together, from going from like the wood of your Airbnb to that gorgeous.
The midnight blue?
Yes.
Yeah, so with paint, I would say that I am just not afraid to make a mistake because it's easily fixed.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do something different. I love a white kitchen, but we wanted to do something different because it was an Airbnb. And I just have been seeing like on Pinterest and stuff, these like blue kitchens, and I just was really inspired by it. And so we thought, why not give it a shot and see?
Yeah. Oh, it turned out beautifully.
Thank you.
So in terms of, so do you, like, I know from Instagram that you do a lot of really amazing DIYs. Can you tell us a little bit about what else you do and maybe what you offer?
Yeah, so I'm actually a home stager. I went to Algonquin for home staging. I love just like placing things, and I love that you're kind of like helping somebody to sell their home. And a lot of the times you're just using what they already have in their home and kind of editing and kind of placing things in the proper spot. So that's what I really, really love to do. And then I also just love being on Instagram and like doing DIYs and showing people that it's not actually hard, and you just have to kind of try, you know, and it's okay to make mistakes. You can kind of go with it, and it's just fun to be creative, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So do you have like a particular style, or where do you draw your inspiration from? And is it, where do you draw your inspiration from?
I actually love like a good like farmhouse kind of like restoration hardware style vibe I was going for like the house that I was living in. But because we knew that our Toronto home and our Mont Tremblant place were not going to be our forever homes, we kind of like did something a little bit different. So in Toronto, we were trying to go for that like loft style vibe with like the exposed bricks and then the loft windows, just to kind of, because it's a downtown city home, you know. So we wanted it to suit the area that it was in. And then Tremblant, we kind of wanted it to keep it still cottagey, but just like up it a little bit and make it a little bit more cleaner and modern. So we kind of mix up our style. My husband and I, we just like we kind of go with what the house is, you know.
Oh, that's
stay true to what the house is.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we've got about 30 seconds left. Can you maybe talk to us a little bit about what services you offer? So if people are interested in contacting you for some help,
Yeah.
and where can they find you?
So mostly on Instagram, I would say, at Dallin Design is my Instagram handle. And mostly just home staging would be what the services that I would provide. But consults, for sure. I've done consults just online, like via online. If you send me a picture, then I can tell you what to do in your space.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah,
It's so much, and your work is beautiful.
Thank you.
For more information, make sure that you hit our website. And thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We had a great show. See you soon.